This video has been such a long time coming. It is about none other than Mark King of Level 42 and Level 42 as a band. Before we get into it, I just want to really quickly say thank you to all of you guys who are watching the videos and leaving comments and stuff and sharing your stories. I love reading that stuff. I really enjoy chatting with you guys. There's not enough time in the day for me to get back to you guys as quickly as I'd like to. But believe me, I read all of your comments and I'm doing everything I can to give you guys suitable responses to your messages. So I appreciate it. But yeah, this is a band. Let me tell you really quick about Level 42. I did look around, so I did a little bit of my homework. And what I mean by that is I always try to make sure that I'm not stepping on anyone else's toes or jumping on the bandwagon with any of my subjects. But with that being said, I've had a lot of subjects or things that I want to talk about, and then someone else would beat me to it. And I'd be like, oh, I'm not going to put my version of it out because someone else beat me to it. So it's been kind of a lesson for me to not procrastinate so much and to hurry up and get this stuff out. So back to what we were talking about. Mark King, like most people, I heard or discovered Level 42 back when they released World Machine, which had Something About You on it. I remember hearing that song and seeing the video and loving that song, and then getting reacquainted with that song in the mid to late 90s. A friend of mine, he used to love that song and he would play it all the time. It made me look into Level 42 many, many years ago, decades ago. My favorite Level 42 album is, without a doubt, The Pursuit of Accidents. Now, so here's another thing. Mark King, he's a thumb up slapper. The way he plays the bass, and everyone just talks about his slapping. So his slapping, he does thumbs up, and it's not easy for me. Number one, because I pretty much abandoned the slap bass technique. By 98, I had definitely completely removed it from my repertoire of tricks. And there were certain things that I used to do to get around having to do things what I felt like was the hard way, like the triplets. Like, I always did this. And I talked about this in another video. And I saw that Doug Wimbish was doing this thing where he calls it like flamenco bass style. So I was like, gosh, I'm glad I posted a video already talking about doing stuff like that, because I've always had a strong interest in flamenco guitar. And just in general, I've always followed a lot of guitar players who play with their hands and of course, as well as bass players. But I've always been fascinated with that technique. And that's kind of why I do that a lot. Like I do those things with the chords and stuff like that. But anyway, with Mark King and his technique, it's hard for me to pick that up because I've always done the thumb down slap. So for me, it's easier to go. Anyway, and then let me start it all over. Okay, so that'll be enough of my sloppy slap. But then also, I love Mark King's finger playing. And he does some cool things like the Chinese way. So I love that the stuff that he does like that. Anyway, let me get back into what I think is so great about Mark King and Level 42. First of all, the whole band, there are no weak links in that band. The Gold brothers are amazing. Boone, he was an amazing guitar player. He was one of those guys, he just knew where to put those notes in the right way. You pretty much knew, or at least I felt from watching them, especially in their early days, there was no conflict with them. They worked very well together and they were such a tight unit. Phil Gold is amazing. He's easily in my top 5 favorite drummers. Sometimes he is my favorite drummer, but I love Terry Chambers so much from XTC that it's hard for me to break away from him. Mike Lindup on keyboards and sometimes lead vocals, but he's the other vocalist in the band. He does an amazing falsetto, and his keyboard work is just out of this galaxy, really. I mean, I just love, especially speaking of the Pursuit of Accidents, the keyboard stuff that he does in there is just phenomenal. I have to interrupt my scatterbrain to cover a few important details. Level 42 has a somewhat mentioned fifth member by the name of Wally Badarou. One of the first songs where most people have heard his work is on the 1979 hit song Pop Music by M. If you watch the Top of the Pops performance of Moonlight and Music, you will see Wally and Phil from Level 42 on stage with Robin Scott and company. Badarou and Phil Gold played on the entire New York, London, Paris, Munich album, as well as M's The Official Secrets Act, which included Mark King on bass. Badarou has co-writer and production credit on many of Level 42's songs, as well as their biggest hits. I haven't been able to check out all of Wally Badarou's solo recordings, but I have listened to Echoes, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Badarou has also worked with Black Uhuru, Grace Jones, Talking Heads, Tom Tom Club, Power Station, Mick Jagger, and Melissa Etheridge, to name a few. Not to take away from any of the other members of Level 42, as they have all had a hand in the songwriting. It's also important to mention that Boone Gould wrote many of the lyrics for Level 42. Badarou preferred working in the studio, and the Gould brothers felt the same, hence their departure from touring shortly after the release of Running in the Family. In future videos, I will go deeper into how many of these European musicians are connected and playing all over each other's music that many of us know and love. With Level 42, anyone who is really aspiring to be a great bassist, typically they will go after Level 42, mostly thinking about the slap technique, and you just don't see a lot of people out there trying to do the slap stuff that Mark King is doing, because he really is one of a kind with his slapping. His slapping has influenced so many bass players that don't really talk about it very much. And I know he's influenced by Stanley Clarke, but you can hear Mark King in Les Claypool's playing. Les is definitely an original. Between Les Claypool and Mark King, those guys are so innovative on what they do with the bass, with the slap technique, that it's really to be recognized, it's to be praised to some degree. And I know there's people out there, I got a lot of comments on that video that I posted about slap bass. There are a lot of slap haters out there, but Level 42 has really made me rethink my whole stance on, you know what, I don't need to play slap bass anymore. I can't give them a break in my rotation. Like right now, I'm just like constantly listening to Level 42. Level 42, just they get into this groove. You just can't escape it. The Pursuit of Accidents is just, to me, that's their best album. It is just unbelievable. There's not one weak track on there. And by the way, if you guys are looking for it, if you're looking to get into Level 42, go to Amazon, because they have this 5 CD pack on Amazon. It's their first 5 albums. I'll put the link in the description so you guys can get it. There's another band I did that with as well. Heart, they have a really good 5 CD box set that Amazon sells, and it's $20, and you get 5 of their greatest albums for $20. Go in the description below, and I'll have links to it in there. I'll do some playing in the next one. I've already cut some other tracks with their songs, and I can't wait to show it to you guys and post them. But yeah, once again, I appreciate you guys watching this video. Thanks again for all the comments. I will have another video out to you very, very soon.